Beyond Synth 364.
Hey, this is Zach, one of the Pattersons, wanting to give a casual reminder that Beyond Synth is a family-friendly program with zero inappropriate language. Listening with the whole family is strongly advised.
You're listening to Beyond Synth Radio. Now get the fuck out of here.
News, weather and sports are coming up at some point. In the meantime, it's Beyond Synth.
Hello, this is Elton John. Hello, this is David Bowie. Hey, this is Madonna. Hello, we are Maroon 5.
Hey, this is Miley Cyrus.
And you're listening to Beyond Synth.
The daylight's fading slowly, but time with you is standing still. I'm waiting for you only, the slightest touch and I feel weak. I cannot lie, from you I cannot hide. I'm losing the will to try, can't hide it, can't fight it. Go on, come on, leave me breathless. Tempt me, tease me, until I can't deny this loving feeling. Make me long for your kiss. Go on, yeah, come on. And if there's no tomorrow, and all we have is here and now, I'm happy just to have you. You're all the love I need somehow. It's like a dream, although I'm not asleep. And I never want to wake up. Don't lose it, don't leave it. Go on, come on, leave me breathless. Tempt me, tease me, until I can't deny this loving feeling. Make me long for your kiss. Go on, yeah, come on. I cannot lie, from you I cannot hide. I'm losing the will to try, can't hide it, can't fight it. Go on, come on, leave me breathless. Tempt me, tease me, until I can't deny this loving feeling. Make me long for your kiss. Go on, yeah, come on.
And that was Breathless from Am Boleyn. Of course, that is a cover of the track by The Corrs, but I enjoyed this version, and I hope you did too. Listen, you're listening to Andy in the morning, even in the afternoon. If any of you out there have been paying attention to the show lately, you will have noticed that the schedule's a little out of whack, but if you listen to last week's episode, you will know it is because I have now been without internet for 25 days. So, I'd like to say that this episode is brought to you by Xplore Internet Services. That's right, Xplore. I'll say it one more time. Xplore Internet. They deliver high-speed fiber internet to rural areas, and they are delivering it in a truly remarkable way by not delivering it at all. And as far as I can tell, no real intention to fix it. So, Can you imagine going 25 days without internet and the company just goes, yeah, we can't tell you when we're going to fix it? Like, that's the answer? Like, I could understand if a serious weather event passed through and, like, we just got hit by a hurricane or whatever and literally, like, the whole town is in rubbles. Yes, I would probably not be judging the company so harshly to get services back online if, like, literally they don't have a building anymore. But this is absurd. Like, anyway, that's Xplore Internet. XploreNet. Go check them out. They're real good. So what we're going to do today, since I don't have internet, that means I cannot do interviews. I cannot record any conversations with people. So I went to the Patreon and I said, hey, send me a message and we'll play it on the show. And that's what we're going to do today on Andy in the Morning. I got a letter here from Kyle Ferguson.
Ding dong, mailman.
Show the mailman those titties. Titties. He says, hey Andy, this is the Ball School. Just kidding, it's Kyle. For those of you not paying attention, I've been getting these emails from some German sports center or something for kids, and it's called the Ball School or the Ballschulen or whatever. Anyway, but now that I've got your attention, was rummaging through older episodes of the show while I wait for the latest episode, and to my surprise, you've never had Fantom 87 on? What gives, man? He has been in the scene a while and makes some of the best music out there. Would be super cool to have him on an episode. Anyways, end of rant. It's not really a rant. Thanks, Andy. Keep doing what you're doing and tell that beautiful brazen Australian to keep up the good work. You should probably give him a raise, by the way. I think any money would be a raise, so maybe I'll PayPal him $5. And that was from Kyle. He says, cheers. Well, thanks, Kyle. And I tell you what, since there's no rules anymore, as long as Xplore Internet wants to fuck with me, I have no idea what the show is at this point, so I'm just going to do whatever people say. And you want to hear Fantom 87? Let's hear Fantom 87. I got a cool one here from the album Discovery. This is Traveler by Fantom 87. And that was Fantom 87 with the track Traveler from the album Discovery. Fantom 87, that's right. I hope you're all having a lovely day here this beautiful morning. Of course, every morning is beautiful when you're listening to Beyond Synth Radio, and I will be your tour guide for this morning of great music. And I got a letter here. Well, I guess it's not even a letter at all. This is just a SoundCloud comment from Fuzzy Saber.
Ding dong, mailman. What, we're just reading SoundCloud comments now? Looks like there's no place in this world for a man like me anymore. Come accuser!
He posted this on last week's episode. He says, Andy, I commend you on not using the exact name of your internet provider. That must have taken some amazing restraint. God knows I would have trash-talked them to no end. You are a gentleman, sir. And, as you can clearly tell by now, there is no restraint. The company is called Xplore. They are sponsoring today's episode. XploreNet, providing high-speed fiber optic cable to the rural areas of Canada. Fiber optics so fast it'll almost be like the internet's not working at all. I'm at the end of my data plan. I called my company and I said, can I just top up the data before it runs out just so I don't pay any penalties or whatever? And they said, sure, $50 for 8 gigs. So I was like, okay, no. I've got 6 days until my billing cycle loops and I can no longer use my cell phone data. So now, my permanent office is in Tim Hortons, where I cannot record interviews, but I can check emails and listen to music and stuff like that, and that's basically my life. So Fuzzy Saber, the gloves are off, and I shall name and shame, and shame to XploreNet, the... Oh my god, I only had the high-speed internet for 2 months before it broke? Although I do have a theory. I know I probably mentioned this on the show before, but I think my theory pretty much came true, and I'll tell you all about it after we listen to this song. I would like to say a big thanks to Honeybeard, who upgraded his support on the Patreon. Honeybeard is a cool band. I say that because technically it's Gaz from Honeybeard who's handling all that stuff. Honeybeard is the band, Gaz is the man, and he's a cool guy, and I thank him for his support, and I think he's back in the studio making music. I just saw a picture of him over at Michael Oakley's place, so I think Michael is maybe helping him with some of the production, so that's cool, because he's a cool guy. I got a track here from Saint Samuel off the album Carousel. This is Beyond the Dead Mountain. right, and that was Beyond the Dead Mountain by Saint Samuel. That's a cool one. What sort of movie scene did you picture as you were listening to those soundscapes? That's what I like to do, man. That's why synthwave is so awesome. I'm just like picturing cool movies in my head, and so hey man, that's the way it is. I want to say a big thank you to David Evans, who sent in a lovely gift. I'm assuming prompted by the plight I'm in. David says, presumably you will be spending more time at Tim Hortons. Get a few coffees on me. Dinner Dog. That's right, David Evans is Dinner Dog. And thank you very much, Dinner Dog. Your kind donation is literally going towards one of 2 internet companies I've just signed up to, because XploreNet won't give me an ETA of when they're going to fix my internet. So now I've literally had to just sign up to multiple internet companies, and it's sort of like, who's gonna send a technician first? Which means I'm about to pay like $300 a month for DSL speed internet. For fuck's sakes. When you're in a rural area, internet is already more expensive anyways. So even if it's just shitty internet, it's like what I would get in the city. This is like $90 for the high speed plan or whatever. In the rural areas, they just add an extra $50. You know, DSL speed internets, if you get that in the city, it's like there's like multiple tiny companies that provide internet, like when you're in the city, and they'll all have these like, you know, $20 a month for, you know, the slow speed internet or whatever, because that's it. It's like just at that point, it's like government issued internet, you know. And when you're in the rural areas, that doesn't count. Oh. Hello?
I'm calling from... Is this Andy?
Yes, it is.
Perfect, Andy.
This is one of the other companies I signed up for.
I was just reaching out. We set you up with some services last week.
Mm-hmm.
And just touching base, it looks like I forgot to send out your hardware. So my apologies for that. I did not send that out. And I just want to confirm that the activation process you chose was the $80 prepayment and then the pre-authorized payment information, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to send out that hardware. It's a modem router combo unit, and it's coming in from FedEx. It'll take 24 to 48 hours. It should be there soon. You should hear from about your installation appointment really soon, too, okay? I
Perfect.
just didn't send out the hardware, so it didn't flow properly, and I'm very sorry for that.
Yep, no problem.
All right, so I'll get all that processed for you, and you should get a tracking email for the hardware and an email about your appointment tomorrow, okay?
Perfect.
And did you have any other questions just while we're on the phone here?
No, that's all, thanks.
Perfect. All right, have an awesome day, and thanks for your time.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye.
Well, that was perfect timing. So that's my new email company, who I've just been informed forgot to send out the new hardware. So that's going to probably add an extra week on top of what that was ordinarily going to be. So now, let's see if the other company gets back to me first. We'll see. I'm getting the impression that the universe does not want me to have internet right now. Is there something exciting on the internet that I'm missing? How's Pornhub? Does it still have porn there? Has everything changed? Okay, look, let's listen to some music. I got a cool one here from Sung from the album Auto Ran. The Auto Ran EP, you know, Sung's cool. He was on the show a few seasons back, makes awesome music. This track's brought to you by Dinner Dog and his very generous gift. Thank you, Dinner Dog, Mr. David Evans. And now, let's listen to Sung. This is Auto Ran. Hey, how's it going? If you're hearing this message, that means that YouTube has blocked me from playing this particular song. You know, in the old days, I would like reach out to individual artists and try and get them to whitelist the song and stuff, but to be honest with you, I don't have the time to do that anymore. So I'm just gonna cut it out. So this is a friendly reminder that if you want to listen to the full episodes of Beyond Synth, please subscribe to Beyond Synth on your favorite podcast app. Beyond Synth is available on SoundCloud, on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes. I think it's on iHeartRadio as well, so that's where you gotta go. Occasionally, these YouTube ones are gonna have songs that get blocked, and that's just the way it is. I will say, though, that it is a really cool song, or else I wouldn't have played it, so I still suggest going and checking out the artist, and that's all I gotta say about that. So have a lovely day. This is probably gonna happen again, and I'm gonna play this same message, too. That's how lazy I am. And that was Auto Ran by Sung. That's a cool song. And thank you for tuning in to Andy in the Morning, even in the afternoon or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. I just want to make your commute a good time. I just like it when everything's flowing smoothly, like high-speed internet down the pristine, brand new fiber cables laid by Xplore Net, delivering high-speed internet to rural Canada, except when it breaks. Oh, that's right, I was going to tell you my theory.
It's time for Andy's Theories.
That is the goddamn government!
Andy's Theories.
More like plandemic.
Andy's Theories.
They want to take all your stuff and make you eat bugs.
Andy's Theories.
Hey, but eating bugs is going to be a dream because you're going to be eating shit.
Andy's Theories.
Of course the president's a clone.
Andy's Theories.
Marijuana makes your dick bigger and the government doesn't want you to know. Illuminati!
Andy's Theories.
So, I may have mentioned this on the show, I'll have to listen back to a few episodes, but I did notice that the company that was laying the conduit pipes, so, they run the fiber cable underground, and they run it through these conduit tubes. This is bright fluorescent orange tubing, and I did notice that they kept on digging up areas that they had already been to, and sometimes I would see trucks multiple times re-digging areas that they had already done, and so I was like, oh, they fucked up, didn't they? They keep on going and re-digging, which means they must be fucking up, because that can't be part of the plan. I am not a construction guy. I do not know the procedure when laying underground conduits for wiring, but I imagine that it's not part of the plan that you bury your work and then dig it up again. That can't be part of the protocol, right? I feel like once everything's buried, it's buried. So these trucks have been hovering around my town, and now they're all gone, and so I'm like, oh, of course. So this is what happened the whole time. They were fucking up, they were correcting their work, and as long as they were on contract to bury the wires, they probably kept on fixing and patching up their mistakes as they went, because I find it hard to believe in the coincidence that the second that company leaves town, the internet breaks, and that they were outside my house all the time, and so I'm like, oh, I get it. My corner was fucking problematic, and they fucking dug it up 10 times, kept on patching it, it kept on breaking, but it didn't affect me because they kept on fixing it because they were here, and now that they're gone, it literally breaks the second they leave. So maybe I should be mad at them too. Leadcore for all your pipe laying needs. We're so good at the job, we'll do it 3 times in one sitting. We'll fucking dig those pipes up again and bury them again. That's how good we are. Leadcore. All right, that's about enough fucking company shaming. Company shaving. Oh my god. This track's brought to you by Tristan Waits, who sent me a message. He says, "Hi Andy, how have you been, man? I'm always a bit behind in episodes, but now finally caught up with the one with my commercial in it. It was unexpected, and that made it even more awesome. Thanks for giving me a very good laugh out loud during my commute in the morning. It made my day, Tristan." Well, listen, Tristan Waits, thank you. You're a cool guy. Thank you so much for your support. I'm glad you enjoyed your commercial, and I hope you like this song from Shades of Thunder from the album Flight of Fancy. This is Wayfaring. And that was Wayfaring by Shades of Thunder from the album Flight of Fancy. Yes, that's some good stuff. Brought to you, of course, by XploreNet, the greatest internet service of all time. You thought DSL was slow. Wait till you try XploreNet. It'll blow your mind. So look, while I don't have internet, these shows are just going to be what they are. And I asked some listeners to send in some voice messages, and whenever I do this, Joe Ozone is always the first guy, and everybody else is like afraid to record their voice or something. Listen, you got nothing to fear, all right? It's always nice to hear messages from the patrons, because I always know Joe's going to participate. He sends in audio at the drop of a hat, and I want you all to be more like Joe Ozone, all right? From the Ozone Late Night Podcast. Here's Joe.
Hey Andy, how's it going? Stuck in Tim Hortons because of internet problems. Yeah, that sucks. I like that you and Marco are doing bad movie reviews now because it's a wonderful space to be in. I kind of got into that 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been having a great time just reviewing stuff that is off the beaten path because honestly, there's some really fun, weird stuff in there. So I actually wanted to give you 3 movie recommendations. Let's start with 1984's Voyage of the Rock Aliens. Number 1, it has one of the best songs to start off a movie I've ever heard, which is a legitimately great song by Jermaine Jackson and Pia Zadora that is called, I think it's When the Rain Begins to Fall. Jermaine Jackson, Pia Zadora. That song and its little music video segment are fantastic. They're a completely different movie that you're not going to watch. Then you'll watch basically a Roger Corman sci-fi version of Grease, and the movie is a riot. Michael Berryman will pop up, and that's always wonderful, especially what they do with that character. Then, go back a little ways, 1977. This one's called Death Promise. Okay. Death Promise. It's hard to properly describe what this movie is, but the reason that you are watching it, honestly, is for a fight scene where everyone is constantly yelling. And I mean yelling incoherently without it being related to the action they're doing, but also just because this is a low-budget, sleazy revenge flick. And it's great. But like I said, the boardroom fight scene is really what you're showing up for, because even my wife, who does not go in for this stuff, is not a low budget movie person, doesn't generally watch a lot of these with me, was cracking up when these guys were yelling and screaming and flexing, and it was wonderful. That one is also free to watch over on Tubi, just like Voyage of the Rock Aliens. Finally, Frankenstein Unbound, 1990. Now this one is only on YouTube, but it's on YouTube in a bunch of different places. I don't think it's ever had a high definition release of any kind, or at least not one I can find. This one is just weird. One of the strangest retellings of Frankenstein. I mean, it isn't really a retelling, but it kind of is, where a scientist from a future where time is going out of sync gets pulled back to the time of Victor Frankenstein and Mary Shelley, at which point he finds out that Mary Shelley is writing a fictional novel about Frankenstein creating a monster, but also Frankenstein is actually alive, played by Raul Julia, and is created the monster that is running around that Mary Shelley is fictionalizing without realizing that she's fictionalizing an actual event. John Hurt is the main character. He plays a character that when I reviewed it, I called him Dr. Michael Knight, because he has a very rad car that he doesn't care is from the future, and he just drives it around. Free to watch on YouTube. That one, unfortunately, is not on Tubi. So there's 3 movies. Now, any of these 3, I think you guys would have a good time with, and you don't have to pay anything to watch them. But if there's one out of them that I would say I think that the 2 of you are really going to like, it's going to be Voyage of the Rock Aliens, because of the soundtrack and that opening video and the costuming and just kind of the general 80s insanity. But the other 2 also are seeing just different types of movies. Death Promise is more of the old school 70s revenge flick made for nothing. And then Frankenstein Unbound, boy, it's a weird one. And the book is actually even stranger, because based on the movie, I read the book, and the book was very, very middle of the ground until it hit the end and it went full Clive Barker. The movie doesn't do that, so I'll warn you, although the movie does have some gore, not a gore fest, but it does have some. So hope your internet comes back really soon, but in the meantime, this will tide you over in terms of things to watch. All right, take care, Andy. Talk to you later.
And that was Joe. And you know what? I'll respond to what he said, but we gotta listen to some music first, okay? Here's some Maxthor. I can't believe I haven't played any tracks from his latest release because they were all great songs, and Maxthor, of course, is awesome, and I liked a lot of them, and I'm gonna play one of the ones I liked right now. How's that for a fucking song intro? This is Sons of Darkness by Maxthor. And that was Sons of Darkness by Maxthor from the album Nothing, which is a little EP with I think 5 or 6 tracks, and they're all good, and Maxthor is a cool guy. So we just had that message from Joe Ozone, and he suggested 3 films that we should watch when I do those review shows with Marco. So I will say this, on Tubi there was a movie which was a collection of trailers. I think it was called like the Alamo Drafthouse like wacky trailer collection or something. And there was a bunch of really funny trailers on there. One of them was for a movie called Stunt Rock, some sort of like rock concert where some of the members of the band are dressed like wizards and it's intercut with stunts, and it's made in the 70s, so I guess it just cuts between musical numbers and then cuts to people on like dirt bikes going off of ramps over canyons and like movie style stunts with like explosions and cars doing flips and stuff. And on that compilation of trailers, there was the Voyage of the Rock Aliens trailer. And when I saw that trailer, I was like, well, this is a no-brainer. Like, we have to watch this because the trailer was awesome. Like, it does look like some corny, cheap B movie, but it still looked substantial enough, from the trailer at least, that it was like, wow, it's weird. I've never heard of this. So I put it to the group. I said, we got to watch this movie. But then it turned out Marco had already seen it and said he and Jazzy, like, fell asleep or something. And then because of that, the whole energy about watching that movie kind of fizzled in the chat. So I don't know what his deal was, you know, maybe he just wasn't in the mood for that type of movie, but I wasn't going to get him to watch it again. So I will say I am going to watch it because I thought that trailer was hilarious. Keep in mind, I still don't have internet, so I actually can't watch anything right now unless I want to spend $50 for 8 gigs of data on my cell phone so I can watch fucking free movies on Tubi, which I'm not going to do. But I will watch that one, and Death Promise and Frankenstein Unbound both sound cool, so we will definitely check those out. So thank you for your suggestions. And now look, I got a new track to play from Glenn Main, but he sent me a little audio introducing his new track, so let's listen to that and then we'll listen to his song. So here's Glenn Main.
Hello Andy, this is Glenn Main calling you from Norway, and I've got some good news for you. I got a new single release. It's called On the Edge. Hope your internet will come back to you soon, so you can broadcast this very soon from your office, not from the cafe down the road. Anyway, I hope you have a nice day, and to all the listeners of Beyond Synth, you are listening to the best synthwave chat show there is. And here is my new single, On the Edge.
Alright, and that was Glenn Main with the track On the Edge. Always nice hearing from Glenn when he's taking breaks from traveling the lands, playing music for people in his Glenn Mobile. We gotta go back to the mail sack.
Ding dong, mailman.
This one's from Stu M. Stu Triple the M. He says, okay, I'm not sure if your database can answer this, but I'll ask it anyway. What are the top 10 tracks that have been requested most from the Beyond Synth archives of tracks that have been played on the best synthwave chat show there is? P.S. If it is possible, you've got to introduce them in a top of the pop style. Thanks. If this sounds like bollocks, just feck it off. Stu M. Stu Triple the M. Is just feck it off an expression? Anyway, here's the deal. The database doesn't keep track of that, but keep in mind that Beyond Synth is a different kind of show because I don't like to repeat songs too often on the program. Normally, if you hear a song more than once, it's because I played a song because I liked it, then I had that guest on the show and we played it again because they were a guest on the show. But it's never really been a top of the pop style thing, so I don't have a top. I mean, I've got my own personal favorite songs. Maybe one of these days I'll do that. Even in the best case scenario, I still don't have internet for another week at least. So maybe I'll put together a top of the pop style show just for you, Stu Triple the M. But yeah, so to answer your question, no. The database does not serve that function, but I tell you what does serve the function of listening to cool music is listening to cool music. And I got one here from Late Night Hour from the album Home at Last. This is Electric Eyes. And that was Electric Eyes by Late Night Hour from the album Home at Last. And that was brought to you by my awesome PayPals. Got to do another shout out to Chris Michael Ore, who was a very kind man sending in a lovely donation via PayPal. I feel bad because, when people they donate to the show because they enjoy the show, and then that's immediately followed by me not doing the show for a month because I don't have internet. I've actually learned something, though, about this whole ordeal. Listening to the show, you might be like, well, look, man, so you don't have internet. Just put out a couple shows where it's just you talking. And I know this might sound weird, but I think I know now that the real lifeblood and energy of this show is chatting with friends. Because whenever I try and put together these episodes where it's just me, throwing to songs and playing a playlist, not only do I think it's less interesting, but I actually don't have the drive or energy to do it. It really is the other people and the conversations and meeting new people and stuff like that that really energizes me to make this show, which is the irony that people always will comment there's too much talking, not realizing that Beyond Synth is more a chat show than it is a radio program. And now I'm really seeing that it is really the conversations that sort of energize the magic and make me want to work and put together the show. So remind me to thank all of my lovely regulars, Marco and Florence and Michael Oakley and, the people who come by here. Because, Marco, he's always like, I don't know why you have me on personally or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I owe that guy a hug because I probably wouldn't be putting together as many shows if we weren't doing those power hours and stuff. So there you have it. Let's listen to some more music. This is also brought to you by my PayPal's Jersey. Jersey, he's always sending me quotes. Without music, life would be a mistake, which apparently is a real quote. From Nietzsche, we got death is nothing but to live defeated, and without synth music is to die daily. And that is from Napoleon Synth Apart. And then we got give me an army of West Point graduates and I'll win a battle. Give me a handful of synthwave artists and I'll win a war. A totally true quote from General G.S. Synthaton. Okay, I do gotta say, Jersey, literally his name is General George S. Patton. So I don't think you have to call him Synthaton if you're trying to create some sort of synth pun, because one of his initials is S, and the S is for synth. But I thank you for your support, that's the main thing. Let's listen to We Are Magonia, and then we'll listen to some more messages. This is Ground is the Limit. And that was Ground is the Limit by We Are Magonia. Yes, some lovely synthwave on this beautiful morning or afternoon or evening. You never really know when you're listening to Andy in the Morning. Let me tell you, I got another theory.
It's time for Andy's Theories.
That is the goddamn government!
Andy's Theories.
More like a plandemic.
Andy's Theory.
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to annoy you with the beginning of that jingle. Like, he's not going to play it again, is he? Let's listen to some more voicemails.
Hi, Andy. This is Nine of Ducks. Want to send you a nice message. I've been happy with the show. Been a fan for over 9 years now, coming up 10. Really enjoyed the episode where you and Marco talked about Miami Connection. It's definitely a blast to watch. If you need another recommendation, check out New York Ninja. It's in the same vein. You'll probably die laughing. Anyways, thank you.
Well, thank you, Knight of Ducks. Knight of Ducks is a cool guy and has been a great supporter of Beyond Synth for a long time. Yeah, man, I'll definitely check out New York Ninja, and I'm still looking for a good price to buy Miami Connection, because for some reason it's like 64 Canadian dollars for that Blu-ray, and I thought, you know what? Hey, I'm going to beat the system. I'm going to go on the American Amazon, because you can actually do that. And I've done that before, and it's actually worked well. When I got Mortal Kombat the series on DVD, it was like really expensive in Canada for some reason, but in the American Amazon, it was like $17 or something. And there was still the exchange rate and delivery, but even still, it ended up being cheaper buying it from the American Amazon. But when I went to the American Amazon to look for Miami Connection, it was cheaper, but then there was like $30 shipping or something, and then with the exchange rate, it was the exact same price as the Canadian one, which makes me think, oh, that Canadian one was just the American one, and they had just done all the math behind the scenes. Well, I don't know why I'm saying this. Look, man, thanks for your message, Knight of Ducks. You're a cool guy, and thank you for listening to the show and supporting the show, and I apologize that there have not been more shows while I have not had the internet. What a weird year this has been. It goes from, man, my internet sucks, I can't wait for high-speed internet, to then having high-speed internet for 2 months and then not having the internet at all. It's been a fucking roller coaster over here. And all I can do is anticipate all the future problems. Because yes, I signed up for Starlink, and yes, I signed up for some more DSL internet. And I bet you my house is positioned perfectly where the Starlink will never be able to see the satellites in the sky. It'll be like, oh, you just happen to have tree coverage in all the wrong places. Like, I'm just anticipating everything going wrong now. So who knows? Maybe this is going to become a Tim Hortons show. Maybe I can get sponsored by them. Let's listen to this track from Synamo. This is Broken Cowboy. right, that was Synamo with Broken Cowboy. Some nice chill vibes for you on this lovely morning. So let's go and see if we have any more messages. You know, I was asking people to send in audio clips if they had any movie recommendations or TV show recommendations or whatever. So let's see what else we got.
Ding dong, mailman.
Hey Andy, it's Daniel Barton, aka Heartbeat Hero. Megan is a pretty cool science fiction horror flick. I did not expect to like it, but I did, and it's like a current day Chucky. Also, Air is 80s porn. It's not porn, but most definitely 80s nostalgia from in its finest form. It's a movie about Nike Air Jordan, how it got made, starring Matt Damon. Now, John Wick 4 is a must-see. The neon setting was spot on. The sets were breathtaking. The props, cars, and guns were dope, and the fighting was phenomenal. It's a must-see. And then finally, make sure to check out The Mandalorian Season 3. It was awesome. The prosthetics and makeup are amazing. The sound effects are fantastic, and the monsters are so cool. But I do have a question, Andy. If a Mandalorian cannot remove his helmet, how does he make babies? I mean, it has to be very unromantic. Let me know.
And thank you, Mr. Barton, for that message. Look at that, he even put background music in it and everything, because he makes a show over there, Heartbeat Hero Radio. Hopefully I will have internet, because I said I would participate in his trivia game. Every year he has like a trivia he does in the summer with a bunch of other synth show hosts, and I said, yes, I'll do it. And that was when I had internet, and I literally cannot participate, and I'm not going to fucking do it from Tim Hortons. So we shall see. It's all very exciting whether or not I will have internet in time to participate in the trivia. But yeah, Megan, I'll check out. The John Wick movies are cool, so I know I will enjoy that. Now, you said Air was 80s porn, and then I got excited, but you were just saying 80s porn as a metaphor. But maybe when I get the internet back, I'll view some of the not metaphorical kind. You know what? I will say this. I think an internet hiatus is actually good for you. It just sucks that it sort of came at like this weird extreme. But I wouldn't mind, you know, some people go on a diet and they have like a cheat day. I wouldn't mind some weird sort of mandated like, every Tuesday is no internet day or something, but like for society, and then like it just promotes people kind of going outside and interacting with each other and stuff, but like, you know that the internet will be coming back, so no one freaks out, so they just go, yeah, Tuesday's no internet day, that's the day we go get coffee with old buddies or whatever. I think that'd be cool. As for your talk about The Mandalorian, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too keen on Season 3 of The Mandalorian. I thought it was kind of stupid. I still enjoy watching the show, but I found it to be pretty dumb. It's not a program that holds up to any kind of scrutiny. Like, if you're the kind of person that wants your stories to make sense and characters to make sort of rational decisions that make sense, I mean, like, I just felt like it was just a whole season of dumb stories punctuated by characters doing dumb things with the occasional cool episode. Ironically, my favorite episode was the one that The Mandalorian was hardly in, but there you go, man. And I guess they can still make babies with their helmets on, unless we're also assuming that Mandalorians have little helmets that they put on the end of their dinks. Is that the assumption that you're making? There's a little tiny Mandalorian helmet, it still makes that same like air compression sound that like that's another thing too. This season there was a few scenes where people put their Mandalorian helmets on and it made the high pitch like sound that Darth Vader's helmet made when it got put on his head in Revenge of the Sith. But the reason why Darth Vader's helmet made that sound was to insinuate that it's an airtight seal, right? Like a machine pushed that helmet onto his head and you heard that high-pitch wheeze sound because it's an airtight seal. But when the Mandalorians put their helmets on, it shouldn't make that sound effect because there's no airtight seal. Like, there's no bottom to the helmet. In fact, the whole logic of Mandalorian helmets doesn't even make any sense because there's scenes where they can, like, breathe underwater and stuff with the helmets on, but they just put those helmets on top of their heads. Like, that would be no better for breathing underwater than you wearing a fucking baseball cap and a pair of goggles. Like, it's... Anyway. Look, I think we're done for this week. Let's listen to one more song and then we will wrap it up. So I got one here from Decade Defector and Steven Sims. This is Insomnia.
Yesterday I was balling. or going? And will it be so low? A simple sign of direction, a simple sign of hope. Rush of electricity, calm this storm inside. Insomnia has got a hold on me. I don't know if I love you or if I wanna leave. Insomnia, but then I can't resist. Is it right or wrong to lead a life like this? My friends keep telling me that I made a mistake. I guess that's what they say is too little, too late. A contradiction, but it feels good when it hurts. Should I stick it out if it never even Insomnia has got a hold on me. I don't know if I love you or if I wanna leave. Insomnia, but then I can't resist. Is it right or wrong to lead a life like this? Insomnia has got a hold on me. I don't know if I love you or if I wanna leave. Insomnia, but then I can't resist. Is it right or wrong to lead a life like this? Insomnia, but then I can't resist. Oh, is it right or wrong to lead a life like this?
All right, that was Insomnia by Decade, Defector, and Steven Sims. Those guys have done a few collabs that I've enjoyed, some cool melodies and stuff. So look, we're still in the year 1896 here on Beyond Synth. I still don't have internet. It is still messing with the schedule. For all of my patrons and all the people who support the show, I apologize. I know out there you support the show and you do it because you like what I'm doing here, but at the same time, deep down, you also are expecting content, right? So I will make it up to everybody. It's just an incredibly frustrating time. But look, there's people in the world with much more serious problems than mine. So for the most part, everybody is healthy and the weather's nice. Every morning I go to Tim Hortons and I have a donut and a tea. I'm on an old-fashioned plain kick right now. Normally I used to eat double chocolate donuts and stuff, and I know I've been old-fashioned plain has been the thing. Now I thought I was making the healthier choice until I realized that an old-fashioned plain donut is actually more calories than even a chocolate dip, which you'd think, how is that possible? But the old-fashioned plain donuts are like the real donuts, they're not the cake donuts, so I guess they're just more substantial. I really need to talk to some other people soon. I got nothing. Thanks for sending in messages. Feel free to send in messages. If you're out there, send me messages, man, because I like to hear them, and I'll play them on the show. And until next time, this is Andy in the morning, and I'll see you tomorrow morning in a few weeks. Now show the mailman those titties.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Beyond Synth is made possible by listeners like you. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.